It's another exciting edition of Sister right here on Citi TV and as well live on Citi FM. Welcoming you whether you're tuning in via Citi FM or Citi TV. This is a show that dissects, goes through the issues that is bothering you. All you have to do is send it in, and me and my incredible dynamic group of ladies will go through the issues one by one and give you the solution you need for whatever that may ail you. My name is AJ Okwakosapo, and it's a pleasure to bring you the show. And of course, this show is proudly brought to you by Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign and as well Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. And of course, this show, we're coming to you live from Live Mate Furniture. Thank you so much to Live Mate Furniture for allowing us bring another exciting edition live from their wonderful showroom, which has some of the most impeccable furniture that you need for your home or your office. When I come back, I'll be going through some of the very interesting stories you sent in, and as well, probably giving you the solution that you may need. So do not go anywhere. Welcome to Sister. You tune in to Sister right here on Citi TV as well, live on Citi FM. My name is AJ Okwakosapo, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome my sisters who are here with me, about to get into the issues as it is. And starting with the one who's seated directly opposite me, she's looking absolutely gorgeous in orange and yellow and flashes of red and everything else inclusive, like a ray of sunshine, and her personality is just like that. The wonderful Felicia! How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well.
How's your week been?
Crazy.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like everything going here and there. I don't know what is happening, but yeah, we are here. So
it go be.
I'm happy.
You go be Odeshi. And always a lady and looking absolutely gorgeous as that. Ladies and gentlemen, happy to welcome the one and only Olivia. Woo-hoo. Hello. You see, honestly, if you search Iraba in the dictionary, it's you. It's literally you will find you.
The nicest thing.
Oh my God!
Thank you.
I'm glad. But how are you doing? How's your week been?
Hectic, tiring.
Yeah.
Let's just say I'm looking forward to school, going on vacation, so I just have my sanity back. But, yes. Besides that, I think I'm thankful. I'm grateful to be alive as well.
Amen.
You're looking stunning, by the way.
Thank you. I'm learning.
All
I'm learning from all of you,
hey.
Most especially the one I'm about to introduce next.
That?
Ladies and gentlemen, she is the epitome of let's get it done and badass while at it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wonderful Rosie. Hi, Rosie. How are you doing?
I'm shy.
It's been a crazy week.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week, but as usual, anytime I see the sisters, I'm like, I'm up there.
Let's get it on.
Yeah.
We love to see it. Love to see it. Now, sisters, are we ready for the letters we've gotten over the last few days in preparation for today's show? Now, are you ready to get into the first one? Mm-hmm. Let's do it then. And this one is quite interesting. So he starts off with saying that my ex-girlfriend from university broke up with me over my roommate. She found my roommate more attractive, handsome than I was after we had dated for 1.5 years, and although we were intimate, she never got pregnant. Only 6 months into her relationship with my roommate, Cyril, he announced to me that she was pregnant and he was scared because he wasn't ready. I was shocked and asked myself, how is it possible she never got pregnant while we were dating? I proceeded to run some tests and the results were that I had low sperm counts. Now, fast forward, I've been married for 4 years now to my wife, and she's never been pregnant, not even a miscarriage. My wife has been pursuing her and pressuring her for the last 6 months, and it breaks my heart every time I see her cry because I know I am the problem, but I haven't been able to open up to her. 3 months ago, after my mom's last visit, my wife returned from the hospital beaming with smiles and announced to me she was pregnant and 3 months gone. How is this possible? I thought to myself. I cannot get a woman pregnant, but my wife does not know this. I don't know whether to be smiling, to be angry, to be confrontational, or what to do. This pregnancy is not mine, but how do I go about the situation? Clearly, my wife has cheated on me. Sisters, what do I do? Mm-hmm. Dun, dun, dun. Ladies, what are your thoughts? I will start with you, Felicia. This man has gotten a woman pregnant, but he actually cannot. So now the pregnancy is his, but he cannot deny it because he knows that he hasn't been truthful from the beginning.
You know what? You should just adopt the baby and
You should just take it. It's God's blessings, because you can't do anything about it.
What can he do now? First of all, you lied from the beginning.
He knew he was
information
incapable.
from your wife. And I won't doubt that the woman knows this. I'm sure she's aware because women always have their way around things. So she, as usual, women find ways to fix it. Sometimes we always have our own way.
She's fixed this now.
She's fixed it
Why
for
is
you.
he
Now
having a problem?
let's accept it and move on. Because when we talk about fertility options for fertility and childbirth, we have donor sperms.
Hey.
Gentlemen, you have a free donor sperm.
Hey.
Zip it and let's move on. Honestly, I don't think there's anything to be discussed here. Let's put the jokes aside, but it's going to bring a whole lot of chaos. If he loves his wife and he's in for this relationship, they can have a chit for chat in the room and say, Madam, I know that this thing, you went around. We know. Whatever it is, end it and let's have this baby and move on as a family. Honestly, that's what I think he should do.
Okay.
There's no conversation to be had.
Should this man confront his wife? Should he reject the baby? Is it God's blessing?
Oh, wow. This is, I don't know which of your questions to even answer first. Because look at the pot calling the kettle black.
Yes.
He's as guilty as she is. So at the end of the day, I won't even be confrontational about this. I will sit my wife down with a lot of love and empathy. And both of you just need to be forgiving. That's it. Because however you want to look at it, you are so wrong in so many ways, and she is so wrong in so many ways. The fact that you kept something like this away from her
And make her suffer for 4 years.
Thank you. Is unacceptable. And the fact that this woman probably found out and also decided to sort of pay you back in your own coin and decided to sleep with somebody else and get pregnant. So it's almost as though it's like silent war.
Yeah.
You're both sort of covering up the whole mess underneath the marriage. I'm not sure what the foundation of the marriage really is right now, because if you don't sit to talk about it, to agree to disagree, I don't think it's a good enough environment to bring children into. First and foremost, you should ask yourself, are you ready and are you prepared to hear what she has to say? Because you started this from day one.
True.
Had you not kept it away from her, and had you both decided to seek medical help or even adopted, like, you guys needed to sit down together to agree as to what to do to be able to move on, but you didn't. She probably decided, no, I'm not going to sit down and brood and everybody, especially society, to deem me as somebody who is infertile. So I'm going to take my destiny in my own hands and do what I need to do. So moving forward, tell her that there's no way. First and foremost, if I were you, I'll be very apologetic and tell her that, sweetheart, there was something I should have told you, I didn't tell you. Some way, somehow, you were pregnant. And I can understand why you are pregnant, even though I shouldn't understand.
Yeah.
But there's no way I could have made you pregnant. And just hear what she has to say.
Hey.
But at no point in time should you be upset because you caused all of this. Now, the question is, depending on what she tells you, are you ready to live beyond what you've started? Because, I mean, if she's independent, she's working, she don't need you.
True.
It's like, I've got my one kid.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. So the question is, do you want the marriage to work? Are you both ready and willing to forgive each other, pretend all of this didn't happen, have the child, and fool everybody else except yourselves? So you need to be ready for those answers, and you need to ask yourself whether you want it and whether you want it to work. If not, I mean, Charlie, because you can end up marrying the second woman,
and it'll still be,
Yeah.
And the same cycle might repeat itself again.
That same cycle can repeat itself, but there are ways around it. The question is, yes, when you found out, for somebody that you lay on the same bed with, and to be able to keep something like that away from her, for me, it's unacceptable, because what it is that you guys could have worked around this. There are options together in love. Yes, it's a big problem, but you're not the only person who has low sperm count. It's true, there are people who have
and they've been able to fix it.
They've been able to fix it, from diets to see a doctor. Maybe the rate at which the percentage at which your sperm count is low is probably borderline. So there are probably certain lifestyles you need to work on to improve it, from diets to exercising to a few medical things that you need to do. Seek professional help and try and go past it. But if you don't ask it, I feel like the problem is going to proceed or continue.
Okay, let me bring Rosie
if I were
into
you,
this.
I'll just, I don't know, accept the baby.
So let me bring Rosie into this. This particular gentleman's mother gave his wife hell, especially over the last 6 months, as she cried consistently. Let's assume that for the last 4 years, it's been a bit hard, but she intensified the pressure a lot more, that the woman is crying every evening. He knew he was the problem, yet he watched her face his in-laws, or her in-laws, sorry, and be shamed, quote unquote. Does he really have the moral right to now confront her, Rosie?
In fact, as you read the story, that's the only thing that jumped to me, because I wished the story was the bottom half. You understand? The top half didn't exist. But the thing is that right from school, that was way before you got married, you knew you had low sperm count. So at the time you guys were getting married, and during the traditional ceremonies, and then they are blessing you with twins and they are blessing with triplets, you knew that your wife could not bear a child because you had an issue. You said nothing. You danced it off. You got your boys to give you all the fans. Look, I'm picturing the way weddings are going these days. You did everything, knowing very well that your wife couldn't get pregnant. Okay, no, moving forward. The kind of pressure women go under to have children, especially from their mothers-in-laws, in some cases their fathers-in-laws, and you wouldn't want to be at the wrong side of your mother-in-law.
True.
When that happens, there's nothing you can do that is right. So to see your wife go through this turmoil, I'm sure the mother-in-laws will give you like 6 months to do the whole are you for and all those things.
And
but
then it starts.
After that's like, hey, so when is my grandchild coming? And once your mother-in-law starts on that trajectory, it means that your wife has gone through a lot of psychological trauma, just trying to prove to the whole world that God's time is the best, quote unquote, or she's doing everything possible. It's possible she's even suggested to him, let's go to the hospital. And you're like, no, I'm not going, because you think that you are going to be found out, that you have a low sperm count and it's going to be your ego at stake and all of that. So you didn't go. She probably has gone to the hospital and knows that there's nothing wrong with me. Look, gentlemen, going forward, my sisters have said a lot. All I'll say is that, look, let's assume, because low sperm count is not a perpetual sentence to hell.
Absolutely.
It's reversible by diet, by medication, whatever. Let's assume that your dieting is good. So your count has increased. You see, there are certain things when you dig deep, it brings a lot of demons. The question is that it can be rectified. You failed to do that. You knew this information way ahead. You failed to tell her. The marriage was contracted on a lot of lies, mistrust, misrepresentation, everything. So now she has a better right to get angry with you.
Absolutely.
So she has brought a child home to save herself the psychological trauma, to save you the psychological trauma of living with the fact that you can't have a child. So just assume that the dieting you are eating, maybe when COVID came and they said we should drink the ginger and things, maybe all those things
it
resets your system. So live with the thought that your system was reset by virtue of the fact that you were eating healthy as a result of COVID and the advice and all the vaccines and everything has boosted your system, and all of a sudden your sperm count is like, yay! And then, hello, baby, and love that baby. And going forward, knowing what secrets can do to your family, find ways and means of breaking this news to her gently. Maybe you should even go and start working on yourself to get your sperm count up there, and then break news to your wife gently, because like she said, it's very possible. Felicia said, very possible that she probably used a random sperm donor, because they do stuff like that in Ghana these days. So it's possible it's a random sperm donor. So I'm thinking that, look, instead of laying blame after giving all of this, then your main question was knowing very well that she has cheated on me. You have cheated on her.
Yeah.
You cheated on her for so long. I mean, for 4 years, 48 months.
And to top that, I was talking about cheating. From the beginning of the story, this guy holds a grudge against women, I think. Because he mentioned that his ex-girlfriend cheated on him.
Left him for a friend, got
so
pregnant.
He's not even opening up to options that, as we said, it could be sperm donorship or something. He assumes because he's been cheated on before, obviously this wife is still cheating. Is cheating on him too. So,
but what if the baby is his?
That's what I'm saying. That you see, it's possible that his sperm thing has corrected. It has reset, because you see, dieting does a lot of powerful things. There are people who have life-threatening conditions, diabetes, hypertension, even cholesterol issues, and then all it takes is to alter your diet and you're sorted. So, like you said, Olivia, if it's borderline, like it's not really that low, it's just borderline, you're not eating well, probably youthful exuberance, you are smoking too much or you're drinking so much, and all those things have come down and you're doing lots of healthy eating, you're eating the greens and the ginger and the Olivia's plantain recipe, you're drinking a lot of it, most likely the count has gone up, and that's what's doing wonders. So I'm just saying that, look, there are so many possibilities here. Don't rule anything out. You are just quick to decide on cheating because there's a secret you know that nobody else knows, and somebody else has been taking the heat for that secret that you've been keeping. So, my dear, if I were you, accept that baby wholeheartedly. Love that baby, because that baby is a door opener to a lot of things in your marriage that need to be fixed.
Absolutely.
I.e., being transparent, open with each other, making both of you trustworthy. I mean, come on, think about it. If it was the other way around, would you be happy? You're having beautiful intimate moments with your wife, and then you find out that, oh, your wife had some issues somewhere, and then her womb was removed or something. You will not take it lightly. So I think that certain things, I keep saying that before you get into the marriage setting, there are certain things, so far as it affects you and your husband, or you, let's say you and your spouse, you need to bring it to the fore.
I like that.
Not your ex, the counts, not your past counts. We are talking about things that are going to affect both of you medically. Those things need to be put.
I don't even know why that was even added to the whole thing, because he's
trying to tell us when he found out that he was.
So that's where that's the history of it. Quickly, in under 30 seconds, take the child and confront and slowly break it to the woman. Is that your thought, Felicia?
Yeah, I think he should take the child and, as I said, have a conversation with the wife. And I'll go with my sister Rosie. He should break this out gradually. Like, they should have a gentle
conversation.
Olivia,
keep the child, or
and he should know that this child is not going anywhere. So the better he starts loving the child, the better. It's true.
It's not going anywhere.
The child isn't going anywhere. That is if he wants the marriage and he wants the child. Because assuming he wakes up tomorrow, right, and then his sperm actually works mysteriously and he has children of his own with this woman, he will always look at this child differently. But he should know that he's the fault that this whole child came about. So he should have some deep love for this child, because this child is innocent.
Wow. Finally, Rosie. She said it all. Well, you've got your issue sorted out, hope, but we'll come back right after a quick break and go into the next one, which is also a page turner. Don't go anywhere. This is Sister.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. Citi TV, it's your world.
You're tuned in to Sister right here on Citi TV and live as well on Citi FM. And of course, this show is proudly brought to you by Ghana AIDS Commission's Red Ribbon Campaign and as well, Kel Charcoal Toothpaste, an incredible toothpaste, and as well, a very big thank you to Life Mate Furniture for allowing us bring Sister live to you from their premises. Now let's move on to the next story, a very, very intriguing one. Take a listen. My fiancé and I have dated for 2 years and both families know and approve of us being together. The first time I met him with his dad, he complimented my curves and made the remark, "My son has good eyes for good women. You took after your dad." At the time, everyone laughed about it and I brushed it off. Little did I know that his father was actually crushing on me and making advances towards me. For example, I visited the house one afternoon and unbeknown to my fiancé then, unbeknown to me, my fiancé wasn't in. His dad rather hugged me while making the comment, "I can hug you all day and never get tired of it." You should have seen the surprised look on my face. His actions kept escalating when he purchased some very revealing lingerie for me. It got to a point where he calls at ungodly hours, sends pictures of himself to me, and constantly tells me that I turn him on and he can't wait to have me. All this is making me very uncomfortable. I decided to stop attending gatherings held in their home, and my fiancé is actually angry about it. Sisters, I've decided to even stop going to his house at all, which has made my fiancé so angry, but the sensual way his father looks at me makes me sick. Andy, my fiancé, believes his dad is the most disciplined man ever, and I do not know how to break the news to him. Sisters, what should I do?
It's easy. Tell your fiancé. You've got evidence right in front of you of your father having nude photos, sending them to you, calling. You've got the call logs.
Yes.
Everything is there. It's not like you're making these things
but
up.
It's almost as if you've come in there to destroy their family, because
No.
the man's image of his father is very pristine, and
So?
yet his father's a pervert.
So, you know what? I had such a terrible experience when I was growing up. I was my twin sister and I were bridesmaid to this man who was like a deacon. My mother knew him, family, everybody knew him. His wife, very respectable, beautiful woman. And I just finished secondary school and I didn't want to stay home. So I was just like looking for something to do. And he says, "Oh, he can help me find work." So my mom trusted him. It was like, oh, like an uncle.
Yes.
You know, not related in any way.
Yeah,
but
but
it's
family
like
friend who's
family
become an
friend.
uncle.
This guy puts me in his car, he picks me up from home. We are driving and all of a sudden he stops in the middle of nowhere. And then he starts sort of he starts to sort of tell me, he can do things, he can pay for whatever I need. I mean, I really don't have to work.
Wow.
He can really take care of me. He's taking care of some other family member's child, and the girl became so close to him to the extent that like he you kind of would treat him like I don't know how to put it. Like he was paternal.
Yes.
But he was shagging this child. I just sat there and I froze, and all I was doing was, "God, please take me back home to my mother." And because what was I going to do? Thankfully, he didn't touch me, and I was terrified.
Yes.
And I just said, "Oh, please, when are we going home? Because I have to go home. Mommy is waiting for me." Immediately, and I was praying inside. Immediately I got home, I told my mother,
"If you ever try and put me in close to
I told
this
my
man
mother,
again."
and thankfully my mother believed me, and my mother called him and blasted him, and I felt sick. I could not believe somebody of that stature could do something like that. So, sweetheart, enough about covering up for these men who feel like they have the rights over. Is it your fault that you're curvaceous? No. Is it your fault that you found a man who loves you enough and appreciates you and respects you enough to show you to his parents? It's not your fault. Neither is it this guy's fault. Call a spade a spade. Show him these text messages, the lingerie. You have too much evidence. Initially, I was going to say the whole thing that we usually say, oh, find a camera and record him secretly.
She already has the evidence.
You don't have to do that, honey baby. show it to your fiancé. Tell him that this is what your father is doing. And if your fiancé loves you enough, he will know that you're telling the truth, and he will do something about it. Mommy needs to know, somebody needs to know, because if you don't stop it now and you cover up, you're going to get married. He's going to, the rate at which he's going, he's actually going to rape you.
And one day you will be raped. Yes.
He cannot contain this passion every time he sees you, and he's been upfront about his disrespect to you. So, honey bunny, tell somebody, if I were you, I'll be forwarding these messages. Do it like now. You can do screenshots.
Yes,
WhatsApp, you can see the father's face. You can see everything. Do screenshots. Massa, this is what your father. The first day he did this, you should have done something about it. Don't leave it for it to get this bad. Thankfully, there's a solution, and the fact that you've even withdrawn means that you don't mind losing this guy just because of what this man has done. But I'm being empathetic of the guy, because what if the guy loves you to bits? What if he appreciates you like that? And having said that, also thinking about what the future looks like, it means that if your soon-to-be husband appreciates where you're coming from, he will immediately create boundaries. Grandfather has a potential of being a twerp.
He's never going to come around when I'm not around.
He's not coming to the wedding. He's not coming. And he should be upset enough to protect you. And if you don't get that vibe that he wants to protect you and keep what you have, then by all means, leave. But if you don't talk about it, nothing is going to happen. He's going to have his way, and it's never going to stop.
Wow.
You've got so much at stake, so go for it.
I love it. Rosie, your thoughts?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You know, I feel sad for this boyfriend because it's like
if this is it, how many girls has he changed away?
Exactly. And well, even though you look at the content and everything, men are usually attracted by what they see. So I'm thinking that is you to your usual spec, you know what I mean? So it's possible that some of the ladies before you have gone through that experience. And some of the ladies after you would also go through that experience. Now for the lady, I'm actually thankful that she's doing the right thing. And I'm happy that she has withdrawn from going to family functions. She's still going out with a man, but she has withdrawn from family functions, which means that she doesn't want to have situations where she and the potential father-in-law will do this. And the question is that whilst you're a girlfriend, you can afford to withdraw from family functions. But
as
after you get married as a wife, not only can you not withdraw from family functions,
you'll be the hostess.
You'll be the hostess, and then your father-in-law would have every right to come and visit you in your
Surprise
home.
visits.
And doesn't have to even tell the son that, oh, I'm coming to
around,
your house today and all of that. So it's going to get murky and murky as the days go on. So I'm just thinking that, look, sometimes when you delay such information, you begin to look guilty. Because once you have these things happening, once you delay telling your boyfriend now what's happening, at the point of marriage, when it becomes too much and you now decide to tell him, for the past 2-3 years, why are you now telling me? Then it gives this impression that, well, you were also enjoying the attention. Maybe you were even leading his father on. You were doing this, you were doing that. So I'm thinking that, look, this is what you need to do. Like Olivia said, tell your boyfriend. But there's also a twist. You see, a man who idolizes his dad as somebody who is an epitome of perfection is going to have a problem when an outside lady comes and tells him that your father is so flawed and is chasing his son's, girlfriend and all of that. So you see, sometimes when you're doing things like this, you need to bring yourself mentally to a point where you may or may not lose the gentleman in question. Because if the man truly loves you, he would want to work through the process with you. And I doubt he can say that my father shouldn't be at the wedding. But of course, he can work with you to bring this thing to an expected end. You understand? He can work with you, because he knows his family, he knows his dad. He will know how to work with it. So if you're not at family functions, he won't question you. He will be the one making excuses for you at the family functions why my girlfriend cannot show up. You understand? Things like that. So you should come clean with your boyfriend. Let him know what is happening and let him know how uncomfortable you are. And if you like, you can tell your boyfriend to sit on the side and give him a call.
And see the
and
reaction.
just communicate. And when he's talking, just respond and say, look, I'm dating your son, and I don't think your son will be very happy if he hears you telling me XYZ, XYZ. Let your son experience it one-on-one. Once that happens, trust me, if the son cannot get past it and still blames you for one thing or another, then he's clearly not the person for you. But if he understands you, loves you, and appreciates the fact that you are chaste enough to prevent yourself from having anything to do with his father, no matter how tempting it may be, I mean, he'll have nothing but respect for you.
Okay.
But I think for men like that, you see, men like that, they need to be, you see, when you say they need to be castrated, they still have the member hanging there. So even though they've castrated, the member is still there. It needs to be chopped off. You understand? Because
clean chop.
Clean chop, so there'll be nothing to work with. Because it's so sickening to have
amount of perverts
I can
in this
imagine
town.
going to someone's house with my boyfriend and then the father having a go at me.
Yeah, can you imagine?
It's so disgusting. Because seriously, during the marriage, when there are issues, sometimes you want to go to your in-laws or your parents.
But now the in-law is the one
But
that
in-law
is the one giving you stress in the marriage.
What are you going to tell your in-law? Papa, your son is doing this. Send me catch you. Come and have time with me. If you come with me, you'll be having these issues.
I will treat you better.
I will treat you better.
Don't mind the small boy. Come to the big man.
Your father-in-law is not your rival. I mean, think about it. I think that, look, listen. Sometimes we fear too much. Come clean.
Yeah.
You see, there's power in coming clean.
Yeah.
So when you come clean, you think that, hey, hell will break loose. But
sometimes it may not. But let me come to you, Felicia.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
So I've been thinking about this whilst my sisters were talking, and I tried to relate it to something that happened to me. So there's two ways to this. First of all, I'm all about communication. Everyone who knows me is about Felicia and communication. What is the kind of communication between this lady and her fiancé? Because if you communicate with your fiancé and you have that bond, this is something that could come off easily. Because this thing is disgusting.
But
There's nothing.
You can't be the one that would come in between father and son.
There's a way of doing this. Let me give you a typical example. I had a tutor. Everyone's talked about how promiscuous he is and he liked women, and I had to work with him. Just when I had that impression, I started going to him like my dad. So when I go to him and I see him making, I'm like, oh, daddy. And I started eating at his wife's restaurant.
So now
so you will come and I'm there sitting with the wife, chit-chatting because I'm a regular customer.
So now you can't advance.
He can't advance. So if you have a good relationship with your boyfriend and your communication is good, when the man calls, like Rosie said, oh, your son is here with me today. Oh, we are even going for lunch, or I'm with your son. Or like you can start making comments for the man to know that
it's a no-go area.
It's a no-go area. This thing you are sending, your son will read it. Do you see it? But if you already hide things from your boyfriend, then this becomes easy for you to hide. Because it started from a day. It progressed to messages. And he even went on to bring you lingerie. That means you've been having some kind of communication.
But he has been picturing her naked.
No, but I also feel like this girl kind of
let's see
encourage the conversation to an extent.
If the first time, I don't think so, but I think if the first time,
then why are you not
if
talking
the
to your
first
boy?
time it happened, she didn't want to be the one that would put the man in a negative light.
Yes.
So you think it will end. Then he keeps advancing it. And you're trying to shut it down. But you don't know how to go about it. Because now you didn't tell him in the beginning. It's escalating.
No, so it all boils down to how you tell your boyfriend.
But I know something.
Right now, she doesn't have the courage to
Felicia,
tell him.
in
That's
your
why I'm
case,
from this
right?
show.
In your case,
In
the
a minute.
tutor is not your father-in-law potential. And you see, you're having lunch with the wife. That tutor has a bit of conscience.
Yes.
He wants to play around.
There's some people that are
But this
shameless.
particular man,
He's shameless.
He doesn't care.
The son's wife knows the wife already.
So he is
But you
literally
see, and the
shameless.
thing is that I have made such comments before. When I see a colleague's wife, I'm like, hey, you have good eyes. You know how to look for good things. In the beginning, you might not think it's anything harmless. But it is when it advances and it turns personal.
But immediately it started advancing, you should have told your guy.
do
Also
you know-
made the man aware
Let
that
me
you
ask
are
you,
telling your
do you know
fiancé about
of
this.
situations where even a girl a girl, your boyfriend is messing with me, and I come and tell you, the girl, that your boyfriend is messing with me, instead of dealing with the boyfriend, you become my enemy.
Yeah.
Have you seen that before?
I get that, but
Something that when you are saying some of these things, the husband, so the boyfriend and the father, Charlie, the man has known this man for as long as he has existed on the planet.
Yeah.
He respects this man, the way he talks about this man. I'm not saying that she shouldn't go. She should go. But I'm saying that in the woman's mind, it's a difficult hurdle
to now cross
and paint this person
in a negative light.
You don't have to. There's nothing difficult about this. Sisters. Like, he's your father-in-law, for goodness sake. The first statement's not buying. I will find a jovial, funny way to papa so cropping some cacao.
Well,
you know, there's a way of saying.
But then again, it depends on how their communication is.
That is what
maybe they just generally don't speak about certain
I would have
things.
told the man straight away in the face, say, look, daddy, now you're in Mguasia. What to us that way, so I'll tell your son about it and leave it.
Like my pastor would say,
I'm someone that's afraid of confrontation. I hate confrontation, so I don't know how to deal with that. I'll freeze.
That's a good point. People just don't know how.
I don't know how to confront. So this is something that I would not know how to go about, because I'm like, how do I tell this man to stop being an idiot? Largely,
just say you can find.
But how do I say it now?
Oh, yeah, I send you, but not the I'm sure Pamela will even read my text tomorrow. Like, I will have a way of telling you.
See,
but in wrapping up in 30 seconds,
these men to continue to do these things. For all this boy knows, this father has been molesting all his girlfriends till date. Yeah. So at some point in time, sweetheart, listen, we're encouraging you. It's not as difficult as it is. Yes, you don't want to be the one to ruin a whole family. What do you call
it?
Dynamic. But something's got to give. You have to send these messages. You have to let your boyfriend know, and that is why you don't go to family functions. You need to communicate at some point.
I love that. But you've heard our ladies. What are your thoughts? Let us know. Send your thoughts in via the WhatsApp number, of course. Tweet at us #sister. Let us know your thoughts on how you may want to go about this particular issue. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going into our third and final story for today, and that is actually going to be really exciting. Don't go anywhere.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. Citi TV, it's your world.
You tune in to Sister right here on Citi TV and as well live on Citi FM. And of course, we're coming to you from Live Make Furniture. And a very big thank you to the Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign and as well Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for being so incredible and coming on board, Sister. And as well, now we'll get into our third and final story for today. This one is short and sweet. Hi, AJ. My husband and I have been married for 10 years. We've done everything together in all those years. I bought a piece of land and my husband paid for the building of the house. We've lived in this house for all these years, but my husband, being the hardworking man that I know and love, has built another house somewhere else and has moved our family into our new beautiful home. Sisters, I want to give our old house to my sick parents, but my husband does not agree to this. We don't need two houses for anything, so I don't see the reason why we can't give our old house to my parents, considering the fact that I bought the land and he built on it. I will stop at nothing until I get my parents to live in our old house. AJ, is my husband being unreasonable or am I being difficult? I need some advice from you and your sisters. Dun dun dun. To do a good deed and put your parents in the home, or to listen to your husband and not? Rosie.
I did my face like this, so you don't call me.
And that's exactly where I was coming from.
I was like, no, don't call me, don't call me. Oh dear. Anyway, so you bought the land.
Yes.
But there was no way you could have spent a night on the land.
True.
Your husband had to put toil and energy into building the house.
Absolutely.
And he deemed it fit to build another house. I'm sure in his mind, he was securing property, not just for the two of you and your family, but probably for the future of your children.
Of course.
Or probably for an income generating,
venture,
property or something. Now, the thing about dealing with family is that usually when you get family to move into your property, you can never eject them. At some point, if you're not careful, that property now even belongs more to the family member that is in it than you who built it. And if you bought the land, your parents probably know that you bought the land. So whatever happens on the land, they think it is
for you.
My daughter's land. And once they move in and they start getting comfortable, now they will now say, oh, my cousin from here, my sister's child needs a place to stay. I'm growing old. I need somebody to help me and all of that. Now, I'm sure these are the things that your husband is thinking about, and she doesn't want your parents to move in. Now, you've had a beautiful marriage for 10 years. Some of these things, you need to sit down and communicate it properly. If it's about rehousing your parents, maybe your husband can come up with some money and rent a befitting place for them, if he's willing to carry the cost. Now, the moment you start putting your foot down, that I will stop at nothing until my parents move into the house, it means that you are taking an entrenched position. What if, instead of helping you put up a building on your land, he said, look, I will stop at nothing until I build my own house before I even think of helping you with your own house or with the house on your property? How would you feel? You think that, oh, we're a team. We need to do things, together. I think that the way you've survived till now, I think it's a family that does things together. But you are seeing your parents as people who have sacrificed for you, who have been there for you. So emotionally, you're like, I need to sort them out. But I think that there's nothing that goes beyond communication. Talk to your husband about it. But being at a standpoint is definitely the wrong approach. But talk to your parents about it, because there are real dangers in allowing people to move into your home in this Accra or in this Ghana.
For here.
You understand? And having them have entrenched positions in there is very difficult to get them out, even at the point where you need it. So find out from your husband why he doesn't want them to come in, and probably dialogue about it. If there's some MOU you guys are going to sign, you sign it. If it's relocating them to some other place, probably more portable, just a 2-bedroom house where they can actually take care of themselves, clean, and that's fine. But don't put your foot down. I don't subscribe to putting your foot down when it comes to dealing with extended people. You need to talk about it and agree.
I like that. Now let me come to you, Olivia.
Okay.
Or should I jump to
No. I was just thinking about what Rosie was saying, and I was just imagining how the dialogue even started. Because I don't think that this man is so wicked.
Yes.
To say, or insensitive to say, no, your parents can't live in my house. How did you approach him? How did you speak to him? The fact that he decided, okay, this was our house, but I still want to go and build something for us to move into, means that he's got other plans. He's probably thinking, oh, probably I'm going to use this as another revenue generating thing.
Yeah, basis to build another one.
Thank you. So you can't just walk to him and say, oh, now that the house is empty, I'm definitely putting mommy and daddy in there. He's going to also take an approach of defense and say, like, yo,
what do you mean?
It's for both of us. Yeah. And you see, I always say this, as women as we are, there's so much power in us, almost like, how do I put it? Being soft, our vulnerability. And that is why, for me, I love to quote the Bible. There's a reason why God says women submit. I'm not saying that women submit to allow your husbands to beat you left, right, and center, but there's a beauty in appreciating and respecting your husband and giving him that level of, if I were you, some fancy evening pass, some good shag, you know, he's okay, the temperature is down, and you know, we're after the challenge, you know, you're rubbing his head, you're all like lovey-dovey, and you're like, oh babe, you know, the land, this is what I'm thinking, what do you think? Do you have plans for it? You know,
How can we go about it?
you know, and for you to even say that, you know, you are going to make sure that your parents go into, how about maybe the guy actually sat back and maybe he's seen some traits of your parents that he finds very disturbing. And that's why he doesn't even want your parents to come there. And like Rosie was saying, by the time you realize Sister Agnes is also in the house, Sister Rose is also in the house, and
before you
when
know,
Mommy and Daddy die, now the sisters have taken charge of the house.
Exactly.
And what is he going to, now he's even going to look even bad.
Yeah, to kick them out
To
of
kick them
because the parents
out.
are sick, and sick,
They're gonna-
even if
they
it's for the
could
next
die.
20 years, the property may never come back to them. As
Thank you. It will never come to
When
them.
family
So,
moves in.
and you know, for now, she thinks that she's got like a strong, solid family. But however you want to look at it, siblings, I've seen siblings fight over property.
Oh.
Your sisters could wake up one day and say, you know, you don't have the right to the property. Why are you being heartless? They could fight you on this. I think your husband is a deep thinker. Go with him. Ask him what plans he has. And like Rosie was saying, maybe find somewhere else for your parents to perch. Go with him. Trust his guts. If I were you, I will be on my knees and praying with him and ask him and follow him. Sometimes there's so much beauty in just appreciating our husbands. He doesn't seem like somebody who is irresponsible. He doesn't seem like somebody who doesn't even care about you. But I think it's your fault. I'm sorry to blame you, but I think you need to sit back, reflect, think about it, and approach it differently. But don't fight. This is not a reason for you to even fight.
I like that.
Allow your husband to be the man that he is and allow him to just flow and let it go.
Okay.
I think you should let it
Now,
go.
let me come to Felicia's thoughts finally in a few short minutes.
So I agree perfectly with my sisters here. I feel like, first of all, she needs to ask her husband why he's insisting to not have her parents in the house. I'm sure every reasonable person has a reason for doing what they do. So if he was able to agree to build on your land and even build a new home for you, as they all said, I'm sure he has a plan.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has a plan for the house. So sit him down, baby. Why are you saying my parents can't live in this house? What plans do you have? You can even come to an agreement. I know families that have joint property that they lease it off to other family relatives for maybe a year or two at no cost. Then after a while, so you sign an MOU or something to say, my parents can be here for 2 years, 1 year, 3 years. Then afterwards, we can find them an apartment or something. The stance of which saying, by all means, it means you already had a plan. Me, I always say that people walk around with plans, motives in their heads without explaining it. Yeah. Maybe all this while she was saying, my husband will build this house and it becomes my own house. So maybe in her head, she's even thinking that house belongs to her. That's why she's all about, I have to make sure. Why are you even talking about the land? You bought the land. We've gone past that. You bought the land, someone built, so... We've gone past this. So I think now it's for you. It's for both yourself and your husband. So whatever decision you take should be a decision you both come to an end. What if he also says, I'm bringing my parents into the house? It's a legit reason. What would you do?
Gang.
Yes, so she should just ask her husband why he's taking that stand and what they can do to solve the problem. I'm sure he has a better option. Even that house might not even be in a conducive environment or place, water issues, blah, blah, blah. So let me get you a better place. So she shouldn't take that hard stand. She should relax, as Olivia said, pray about it and have a conversation. I'm all about communication.
Come on. Okay. All right. We love to see it. So basically, no entrenched position. come to the table and then
discuss.
both of you make a decision, and then both of you will work it out.
Yeah.
And I hope that helps you wherever you are, and I hope you got that clarity that you needed about this particular situation. Getting to a few quick messages. Kennedy from Kaswa says that I think you should both sit down and have a conversation about it. I totally agree with the sisters. That's the best way to go. Nanama from Kaswa as well also says that. Shout out to all our Kaswa people. Also says that please, this is not the position to take. You cannot determine who moves into a house that you both have done. Make this decision together and you might be happier. Adobia also adds and says that, well, perhaps after building it, even though he has helped with it, maybe you need to ensure that he sees what you're talking about, and then your parents might perhaps move into the home. Well, thank you very much for your messages. We appreciate them. Of course, keep sending it in, and of course, use the hashtag sister to ensure that your voices are heard on the issues. And as well, we encourage you to send in your whatever dilemma you might be going through. Send it in, and you just might be the one we'll be discussing on our next episode and giving you the clarity that you need to proceed in that particular scenario or situation that may be affecting you. And that's how we bring it the show to an end. Ladies, sisters, thank you always for being here. I was here with the gorgeous Rosie. Yeah, the ever lovely Olivia, and finally the vivacious Felicia. And together we brought you this very exciting edition of Sister. My name is AJ Akwakosapo, and I'll be back your way next week with another exciting edition. A very big thank you to our listeners, both on Citi FM and our viewers on Citi TV, and encouraging you to, of course, keep the conversation going. And to wrap it up, my thoughts on today's stories, the first one, our gentleman who has been faced with an interesting crossroads of which he has to make a very hard decision. You are medically unable to have a child, yet you trapped a woman in a marriage for 4 years and allowed her endure all kinds of humiliation, especially from your own mother, where she cries herself to sleep. That alone could be unforgivable on so many levels. And as you wish to be confrontational, you need to understand that you also have to deal with the consequences of telling her the truth. That for 4 years, she languished in so much confusion when you knew exactly what the problem was, and the problem was you. So she could make a decision to walk away from the marriage, and it's something that you may have to deal with. Apart from that, could also be your heaven-sent way of experiencing fatherhood when you are unable to actually conceive. So it could also be an opportunity for you to just keep quiet and enjoy the blessings of the Lord from wherever it was brought from. But I think, honestly, you should have a conversation with her. Be honest about exactly what your medical condition is, and let her know that even though, and again, it's up to you to be accepting of this particular child. But if you are willing to accept it, then let her know that you know that this particular child is not yours, but you're willing to stay with her and, of course, raise the child together. It's an interesting conundrum you've been placed in, and I hope you make the right decision, not only for you, not only for your wife, but for the innocent child that's been brought into this whole mix. Now to our second lady and our second story for this evening, where she is confused about how to approach her father-in-law's romantic advances. I think you should have told your boyfriend or fiance immediately it began. But now that it's so much water under the bridge, one thing you should do is gather enough evidence, because you've had so much time to tell him, but you chose not to. Now, to be able to let him understand what is going on, you need to ensure that you have enough evidence to support all your assertions. So give yourself a few days to gather enough evidence and present it to him. If you do have enough evidence based off the messages and you haven't been deleting it and you have it all saved in an archive somewhere, then perhaps you should show your fiancé and allow him understand the reason why you're so uncomfortable to come around the place. And hopefully he can put the father in the right space and tell him that he should back off his fiancée, that is you, because you're his and his alone. And perhaps it may be able to go off without as much drama as possible. But I hope you're able to confide in your fiance, because you're about to spend the rest of your life with him. If you cannot tell him about something as difficult as this, how about when it gets even more murky? Will you be able to speak to him then? Start off with a clean slate and let him know exactly what his father has been up to. And that way, next time you choose not to come for a family event, he will not be so angry about it. And finally, to our lady who is wondering if her husband is being unreasonable or she isn't. The fact that he helped you, or the both of you came together to be able to build your first home on your land, doesn't mean that it is your home. It means that it's a joint effort, and his thoughts also matter. So if he says that he wants to make it as an investment opportunity, then perhaps come to a crossroad. Find another means of accommodating your parents. Maybe rent a home someplace close to you that you can be able to keep your eye on them and help them out as and when they need to be. But do not cause so much strife because of this, because he has honestly good intentions, using this home as an avenue to raise more equity, to be able to create or purchase more homes for your own future. Sometimes he may be right. When you bring a family member into the home now becomes a situation where you can be unable to move them out. Imagine if you have siblings, perhaps, and after your parents stay in there, and as you described, since they're old and sick and they pass on in that home, your siblings may create an entitlement to that home. They may conceive it as, or may think of it as, a family home, but it's yours and your husband's home. So perhaps instead of going all gung-ho or World War III because of this particular scenario, find a middle ground. Rent a place for your parents close to you. Let him bear the cost, since he is the one that doesn't want them to stay in a house. So tell him that he should bear the cost of renting the new place, and perhaps that will bring that middle ground that you both need. And I hope you're both able to move on this path, away from this particular hiccup, and able to create the good plan that he clearly has for this particular property, and ensure that that gets into a point where you can be able to raise revenue for a lot more for your small family. And that's how I bring this another exciting edition of Sister to an end. Thank you all for being tuned in from our radio audience on 97.3 Citi FM, and as well our TV audience live on Citi TV. Join me for another exciting edition with me and my sisters next week. And of course, encouraging you to keep yourself and your dial right here on Citi FM and Citi TV. A very big thank you to our incredible sponsors, Onga, Mama's Helping Hand, Kel Kids Toothpaste, and finally, Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign. And a very big thank you to First Choice for my lovely hair. Until I come your way again, keep watching Citi TV.